Bill McGuire, everyone who killed him. I recommend to anyone who is interested to check out the Lifetime story picked up by Netflix, The Suitcase Killer, the Melanie McGuire story. I learned of her story many years ago, not long after the media got wind of it back in the early 2000s after the murder happened. It was fascinating back then with the idea of anyone, let alone a woman, pulling off something like this, dismembering a body, her husband's body, stuffing it into 3 matching suitcases, and sending them out into the ocean. Wow, huh? Well, this story is pretty sensational at best. What I am having trouble understanding is that how can a nurse and a doctor give up their reputation and career to a short-term or long-term affair? According to her, she went from saying that Dr. Miller wanted to leave his wife to be with her. But by the time Dr. Miller made it to the courtroom, he said that because of his family, he had no intention of leaving his family for Melanie. This can be another whole story in itself. Why women don't believe or realize that they play every part in causing heartbreak to the man's wife they are cheating with. You are just as responsible for hurting that woman in her marriage, just like her husband. Usually, the man who is cheating will give some one-sided story on how his wife is not treating him right. And the woman who's cheating with him is falling for all of what she is being spoon-fed. I've never seen a good outcome in any of it. But somehow, when you finally get this cheating man in your life, you are hoping that he all of a sudden has love, respect, and morals for his now new marriage with you. So now you live a life with this man, whom you helped to ruin his previous marriage, hoping that he doesn't do the same exact thing to you. Let me tell you, there is nothing special about the next woman in a cheating man's life. You will always be wondering if you will be the next one cheated on. I once actually met a woman who waited on a married man for decades of her life. Talk about insecurities. And to this day, after taking her part in ruining a marriage, she is not completely comfortable in her own marriage with him after waiting for him all of those years. Every time he leaves the house, she truly believes he is out having an affair. What irony. But back to Melanie and her husband Bill. In this marriage was gambling, addiction, and infidelity on both sides of the spectrum, and in the end, murder. Melanie never said whom she believed to have committed this murder against her husband, but there was so much evidence against her. And yeah, of course, I know that her being the wife, she would be the first person to be a suspect. But there were so many pieces of evidence that stacked up against her. So let's take a rundown of some evidence and I'll tell you what sticks out for me. Like most suspect, I've noticed when watching interrogations, very few stick to the same story. It happens more than often. And to me, this is when suspects trip themselves up every time. Her story looked suspicious to the investigators when she did not wonder where her husband was for days on end after their dryer sheet argument the night before. But if a man has been gone for days to weeks and his clothes are still in the house, wouldn't you inquire if he is coming back to get his stuff or let him know that you will leave it out somewhere for him to pick it up? Rather, she gave a bag load of his things away to a family member. Now she supposedly spoke to her boyfriend or lover, Dr. Bradley Miller, telling him that she and Bill had a glass of wine and toasted to their purchasing of the $500,000 house, which is the last night he was seen at their apartment. And according to the public document, the doctor wasn't happy about her buying a new home because he wanted to leave his wife for Melanie. Aside from everyone thinking that Melanie and Bill had a good marriage, what sense did it make to, if a person has an addiction with gambling, why would you, as a couple, buy a more expensive home with someone who will gamble the house money away? According to Melanie, she said that Bill had a hard time putting money away and was always taking Momi out of the account without telling her. What made her think that it would change in a $500,000 house when the mortgage was due each month? People with gambling addictions just see money available in the bank and feel lucky that they are going to win it right back. They don't think of ever losing big when they gamble. Plus, Melanie had told Fields and family that Bill had attacked her on April 29th, 2004. Then, the next day, she was advised to file for a retraining order against him. So, from April 29th to May 5th, she allegedly had time to clean the entire apartment, remove the furniture, which includes that alleged green couch that was in question, where they found green couch fibers on the body, which told investigators that at the time of the murder, he must have been laying on the green couch in question. And the children were at the grandparents' house during the next day of the alleged dismembering of Bill's body. Now, some other evidence that didn't come up with an alibi until it was found were: Bill's car was parked at the casino, the gun that she didn't admit to owning till it was found, the prescription pad stolen from her lover, Dr. Miller, which he admitted in court that it was his prescription pad, but not his handwriting on the pad that was written for a drug that during the autopsy, the coroner found what was known as a date rape drug. Plus, all three suitcases were discovered days after each other in Virginia Beach, May 5th, May 11th, and May 16th, 2004. Melanie and Dr. Miller continued to see each other while his life was rapidly changing. While his affair became public, his wife Charlotte divorced him. Melanie's defense team leader, Joseph Tacopina, used a mobster-style theory to explain way of what could have happened to Bill. It was said Bill was a gambler and he played hard, lost money, and won money, like gamblers do. According to Melanie, she believes that he borrowed money from possible bad people, which she believes, though out her trial, is what may have led to her husband, Bill's death. Maybe he couldn't pay his debts and foul play was the result of it. May 5, 2004, the first suitcase containing human legs was found floating near the Chesapeake Bay. On May 11th, a second larger suitcase was found on the beach in the Fisherman's Bay by a grad student cleaning up litter. In the suitcase was a head and a torso. The head had one bullet wound and the torso had 2 bullet wounds to the chest. The third and smallest suitcase containing arms was recovered floating in the water near the Chesapeake Bay Bridge on the May 16th. Police released a facial reconstruction sketch of the victim, which a friend of Bill recognized. Melanie then became the prime suspect, and authorities turned the investigation over to the New Jersey State Police. I remember Melanie's story back when the crime show, Snapped, was hot and heavy back then. Since she had been found guilty many years ago, she have had filed many appeals and all had been denied. She won't be considered for probation till she is 101 years old. This is Lawmax's Allegedly. I am Lisa, your host. Good night.